Boker Tov, we are continuing Megilat Esther. We're on the third Pasuk, and the third Pasuk goes as follows. Mishnat Shalosh Lemolcho, in the third year of Achashverosh's reign, Asa Mishteh, he made a feast, a party, Lechol Sarav Avadav, to all of his princes, and all of the servants. Chel, the army, Parasu Madai, of Persia and Media, Paras and Madai, Hapartemim, the dukes, Vesarea Medinot, and the princes of the countries, Lefanav, in front of him. So the Gaon Mevilna explains, this is a famous explanation, why in the third year of his reign did he make the big party? Why not in the first year, when you first got inaugurated? So this again had to do with the throne. The throne took time, this amazing throne that he moved his whole kingdom to Shushan for. It took time to get built, and it was only completed in his third year. So he made a very, very big party in the third year when that throne was completed. So specific at that time. And he explains the difference between a sar and an eved. The whole sarava avadav. A sar is a prince, but it's also referring to someone that rules over, let's say, a city, a governor, right, of a city. So he's the head, he's the king, but he has governors or heads of state, etc. So those are the sarim. Ministers, yeah. Avadim is people that serve him specifically. Avadim, that serve him. And he says that sarim, they don't see the king that often. They're usually in their state, in their country. They're running the country. And once in a while, they'll come report to the king. They'll have to make an appointment or whatever it is. They come and see the king once in a while. But avadim, servants that are servants of the king, they see the king all the time. They bring him his food. Huh? Yeah, they're in the palace. They bring him his food. They take care of him personally. I was once in the palace of Versailles in France, and there's amazing pictures on the wall, paintings, and there's a few paintings where you had a feast, a painting of like a feast, and it looked like a royal feast. It looked like royal people at this feast. But even at the feast, you could see there's servants there. And back in the day, the servants would say from Africa, as you see, they stands out. And children look like teenagers dressed, but as servants and serving. You say to yourself, people would have paid millions to be, at that table, and these guys are there, but they're the servants. And I heard a story once where there was a rabbi that he had a lineup of people to come visit him, and they were waiting in line for him to get a bracha. And the guy comes in with jeans and a shirt. He looked like he was like dirty even, and he just cuts the whole line. And the rabbi gives him attention. He speaks to the rabbi for a few minutes, a minute or two, and he goes, I was like, what's this guy? What happened over here? So he said, he was the electrician. He was fixing something, and he told the rabbi, I finished the job, have a good day, whatever it was, right? So if you're in there, then you have a different relationship as the avadim. And he explains, this is also in regards to a person that's an Oved Hashem. He says there is what's called Sar HaTorah, a minister in Torah, and there's an Eved Hashem. What's the difference? Sar HaTorah, this is the name that they actually gave to Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky, the Sar HaTorah is a minister in Torah, how much Torah he learned. It was unbelievable in knowledge and depth, etc. Eved Hashem is someone that is always talking to Hashem, someone that's always concentrating in tefillah, someone that's very deep in tefillah and always praying and yichudim and sibulot. And so a person can be both, but that's kind of the difference, because the Eved Hashem, he's always talking to Hashem, and he's also the one that's learning Torah, but in a different way. He's, in a way, Hashem's talking to him. He's reading Hashem's books of Torah. That's the difference in Sarav Avadav. Partemim is, Rashi says Dukasim, which is dukes, which is basically people that were in his countries, in his kingdom, that also had royal blood, because he took over other countries, and they also had little kings. These were people that were invited that also had royal blood that were under him. And he says that's why the Pasuk says the Sarem Medinot Lefanav, the Partemim, and the Sarem Medinot, the Sarim of the other countries. And he had his Sarav V'avadav. In his own state, there were governors, and then he had the Partemim and Sarem Medinot, Sarim ministers of the other countries that he was ruling under, lefanav, in front of him. So he says that the way the way they would sit was the dukes and the other ministers would be lefanav, would be in front of him, and his sarim and avadim would be on his side. That's how the Gaon explains the way that they would sit. And he says here the entire Megillah, it says Paras and Madai, Persia and Madai. So there is other places that it puts Madai first, but here it puts Paras first because Achashverosh himself was Persian. So Paras for him was the more of the main thing, Paras. Okay, let's explain this pasuk based on what it's hinting to. So Sarav Avadav, remember Achashverosh is the Yetzer Hara, and he also, just like any king, has ministers and people to carry out his mission. So too does the Yetzer Hara have many tachbulot, many ways to unfortunately get a person to sin. He has many servants, he has many people, many ideas, and some can be small, some can be bigger, and we have to watch out for all the extensions, so to speak, of the Yetzer Hara. And he says that the head is the Gaon Vilna says Ta'ava hu haketer l'chol hamidot ra'ot. Ta'ava, lust, is the crown to all the bad midot, all the bad traits. Because if you have a lust or something, a person could do anything to get to that lust. He could steal, he could lie, he'll do everything bad to get to that lust. And therefore, be careful with what what you want, and don't be too aggressive with it, because that could lead to sin. Paras and Madai, he explains as follows. He says that Paras is Lashon Prusa. Prusa, if you tell it in Hebrew to someone, Tavili Prusa, it means that can have a slice of bread, a piece. So Prusa is a piece. And when it comes to Ta'ava, when it comes to lust, the Gemara tells us that a person doesn't pass away a person passes away not even with half of the lust that he wanted, not even with half of the ta'ava that he wanted. He always with a prusa, and therefore the Yetzer Hara tries to always get us to want more. And he says Madai, he brings proofs that it connects to mamon v'kavod, money and honor, that a person always wants more of, and he feels that he always only has half of it. The Gemara says the person that has 100 wants 200. The person that has 200 wants 400. The person that has 400 wants 800. And the question of the Gemara is, why don't you say a person that has 100, he wants a million, he doesn't want 200. The person that wants a million, a zillion, whatever. So a person that has 100, he recognizes that this is what he has, and he feels, if I have this, I can get another one of this. And then he hits 200. And when he hits 200, he says, if I have this, I can get another one of this. It's 400. Yes, he wants the million, but realistically, I'm never going to be a millionaire, never going to win the lottery, but what I have here, I have 10,000, I could realistically see myself with 20. And then when he hits the 20, I can realistically see myself hitting 40. But it doesn't stop. But you always feel like you have half. And this is something that we need to be in control of as well. The Paras and Madai, the not wanting to being happy with what we have, and that's of course Pirkei Avot, that will combat this Paras and Madai. Okay, that's the end of this shiur for today. We'll continue with the fourth pasuk tomorrow, B'ezrat Hashem. את ישראל לפי חכיר בעולם תורה שנאמר, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו, יגדיל תורה ויאדיר.